DARTS stands for Directed Activities Related to Text. When working with a text, DARTS provide an alternative to traditional comprehension questions as a way of assessing and encouraging understanding. There are two main types of DARTS: DARTS using unmodified texts and DARTS using modified texts. DARTS using unmodified texts. These are DARTS where the teacher provides a copy of the original text so the learner can annotate or manipulate it. DARTS using modified texts. With this type of DART, the teacher modifies the original text, for example, by taking out words, phrases or sentences, or by cutting the text into segments. Let's look at some activities you can use with unmodified texts. You can ask learners to underline or highlight particular sections of a text, for example, formulaic expressions, descriptive language, connectives, etc. You might also want to ask your learners to break the text into chunks and devise a heading for each chunk. Learners could also use the information in the text to create a table, diagram or flowchart. Let's look at some activities to use with modified texts. First, you could use gap filling, where the learner fills in missing words, phrases or sentences. You could also use sequencing, where you ask learners to put words, sentences or short paragraphs in the correct order. Learners can also group segments of text according to categories. Here's an example with Henry VIII. Learners can also complete a table, grid or flowchart. Here's an example of a flowchart which focuses on the start of a human life cycle. You could also ask learners to label a diagram. Learners can also predict what's going to come next in a text, or write their own ending to the text before they see the real one. Lastly, learners could also write questions about the text for another learner to answer. So, why use DARTS? It's often possible to complete a comprehension task on a piece of text without fully grasping its meaning. However, using DARTS can support learners to reconstruct and interrogate texts, which promotes greater understanding. Using DARTS can be a good way of highlighting particular features of English. For example, in this text about Red Riding Hood, the activity could draw attention to the past simple, or typical features of story writing, such as formulaic expressions. DARTS are appropriate for fiction or non-fiction texts, and can be used to check the learner has understood the main points of a specific topic. As well as being useful for independent learning, DARTS can also be carried out by pairs or small groups of learners, and this turns them into active, collaborative learning situations, giving opportunities for exploratory talk. Top tips for using DARTS. Think about what you want your learner to notice, practice or understand, and this will help you select the most appropriate activity. For example, if you want your learner to focus on how to structure a text, you might want to give them one of these activities. A gap fill that makes learners think about information that has come before and information that will come after. Identifying subheadings for paragraphs, or maybe writing labels or annotations of a diagram. On the other hand, if you want your learners to analyse information, you could ask them to highlight keywords, use different colours, for example, to highlight different characters' views, recast the information in a graphic organiser, for example, a Venn diagram, life cycle or tree diagram, or transform the text into other formats, for example, a letter. How can DARTS be used for independent learning? To adapt this for independent learning, teachers could send the text and instructions to learners via an online learning platform. To help learners understand the instructions for the task, the teacher might want to record themselves talking learners through an example of what they want the learners to do first. Thanks for watching. To be notified of future videos, please click subscribe.